The first time I saw him, he wasn't real. Just pixels and light on a glowing phone screen. His name was Liam, 23, a bio that said, "Still figuring it out." I almost swiped left. Not because I wasn't interested, but because I was scared of what I might find if I wasn't careful. But then there was that one photo. Him standing on a rooftop at sunset, eyes closed, head tilted to the wind like he was listening to something only he could hear. Stopped me cold. I swiped right. And then, somehow, impossibly, he did too. It's funny how something so small, a flick of a finger, can rewrite the course of your entire life. First, it was awkward. The kind of messages that try too hard not to try too hard. I asked if he liked music. He said, "Only the kind that makes me feel too much." I laughed and said that was the best answer I'd ever heard. For 2 weeks, our lives existed in little blue bubbles. We were both night owls, so our chats stretched till 3 a.m., talking about stupid things, favorite snacks, bad dreams, childhood fears. But sometimes there were silences. Not the boring kind, the heavy, beautiful kind that felt like both of us were thinking the same thing but were too afraid to say it. Then one night he texted me, "Do you ever feel like you're talking to someone you already know?" I stared at that message for a long time before replying. "Every time I talk to you." We decided to meet on a Sunday. It was raining. Not a drizzle, but one of those relentless downpours that make the whole world smell like wet pavement and memories. I almost canceled. My heart was thundering in my chest like it was trying to warn me that something big was coming. But I couldn't stay away. I threw on a denim jacket, grabbed an umbrella, and told myself it was just coffee. Just a meeting. Just a boy. But when I saw him standing outside the cafe, completely drenched, umbrella forgotten, staring at the gray sky like he was trying to read the rain, I forgot every plan I'd made to play it cool. He turned and saw me. For a moment, the world stopped. I'd seen his face on a screen 100 times, but this was different. His eyes were brighter, his expression softer, his presence heavier. And the way he looked at me, like he already knew me, it made me realize something terrifying. I wasn't meeting a stranger. I was meeting the version of myself I'd been waiting to become. "Ethan?" he asked, stepping closer. His voice was quieter than I expected, but it cut through the sound of the rain like music. I nodded. "Liam." We just stood there, grinning like idiots, raindrops sliding down our faces. Then he laughed. A nervous, shaky sound that felt like sunlight in the storm. "I didn't think you'd actually come," he said. "Neither did I admitted. He smiled at that, and something in me shifted. We went inside, but the cafe was packed, and the air was thick with the smell of coffee and the sound of clinking cups. So we decided to walk instead. No umbrellas, no plan, just us and the rain. It soaked us completely, but neither of us cared. The conversation flowed like we'd known each other forever. He told me about his photography, how he loved capturing people when they weren't posing, when they forgot to hide. I told him about my writing, how I tried to find the truth between words that didn't want to be honest. "Maybe that's why we matched," he said, his voice half drowned by the rain. "You write what people feel. I capture what they can't say." It wasn't a line. It was the truth. When we reached the bridge that overlooked the river, the rain softened into a mist. The city lights reflected off the water like broken stars. He leaned against the railing, looking out. "Do you ever feel like you're living in someone else's movie?" he asked. I laughed. "All the time." He turned to me, his green eyes searching mine. "And what if this is your scene? The one you'll never forget?" I wanted to say something clever, something that would make him laugh again. But I couldn't, because all I could think about was how close he was, how our breaths mingled in the cold air, how easy it would be to close the distance. "Then I guess I'd better get the dialogue right," I whispered. He smiled, barely, and the next second he kissed me. It wasn't planned. It wasn't even gentle. It was desperate. Two people trying to tell the truth without words. The rain started again, harder this time, soaking us both, but neither of us pulled away. The world around us blurred, cars, lights, noise. Everything disappeared except for the warmth of his mouth and the steady, trembling beat of his heart against mine. When he finally drew back, his lips were trembling. "You're shaking," he said softly. "So are you." We laughed, but it came out breathless. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't scared. After that night, things changed. We didn't just text anymore. We called. We met every weekend. We learned each other's habits, how he liked his coffee black but his toast burnt, how I hummed when I was nervous. He'd steal my hoodies, saying they smelled like comfort. I'd pretend to be mad, but secretly, I loved it. But love, real love, isn't just about stolen hoodies and long walks. It's about the silences you share when words won't fix what's breaking. Because Liam was breaking. It started small. A missed call here, a short reply there. He said he was just tired. That work was too much lately, but I saw it in his eyes. The storm he was trying to hide. One night I went to his apartment. The lights were off. He was sitting by the window, staring out at the rain again, like he was waiting for it to wash something away. "Talk to me," I said quietly. He didn't move. "You ever feel like you're drowning, but everyone keeps telling you to breathe?" "Yeah," I whispered. "Every day before I met you." That made him look at me, really look, and something inside him broke open. He told me about his parents, how they'd stopped talking to him after he came out, how he felt like love was something that never stayed, only visited. And in that moment, I understood why he'd looked at the rain the way he did. It was the only thing that ever stayed, falling, washing, returning again and again. I sat down beside him and took his hand. "You don't have to face it alone," I said. "Not anymore." He didn't say anything, but he didn't pull away either. And that silence, that simple act of staying, meant everything. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the light came back into his eyes. He started taking photos again. Of puddles, reflections, people holding hands in the rain. One morning, he sent me one of his shots. It was of us, standing under the bridge, drenched but smiling. The caption read, "The day I stopped pretending I wasn't worth loving." I stared at it until tears blurred my vision. Because that's what it was. Really, not a photo, not a story, but a confession. We didn't fall in love in a chat box. We fell in love in the storm, raw, imperfect, but real. He moved in with me 3 months later. Not because it was planned, but because one night he showed up at my door with a backpack, rain dripping from his hair, and eyes that looked like they'd run out of excuses. "I just need to be somewhere that feels like home," he said. And I didn't say anything. I just stepped aside. From that night on, my tiny apartment became our world. Mismatched mugs, shared playlists, socks that somehow ended up in the wrong drawers. Every morning, I'd wake up to the smell of his coffee and the sound of his camera clicking. Every night, we'd talk about the future like it was something we could touch if we reached far enough. But love, even the kind born in the rain, isn't immune to the storms inside us. One evening, I came home to find him sitting on the floor, camera in hand, surrounded by printed photos. They were all of us, laughing, walking, kissing, existing, but he wasn't smiling. "Why do you look sad?" I asked. He glanced up, eyes glassy. "Because I finally have everything I wanted and I still feel like I don't deserve it." I knelt beside him. "You do. You always did." He shook his head. "You don't get it, Ethan. Every time I'm happy, I get scared it's the last time. Like the world's waiting to take it away." His voice cracked on the last word, and I realized, for all his laughter and warmth, Liam still lived with ghosts. So I did the only thing I could. I reached out, cupped his face, and said, "Then let's make every moment count. Even if the world tries to take it away, it can't erase what we've already lived." He closed his eyes, leaned into my touch, and for the first time, I saw him believe it, just a little. That winter was the coldest I can remember. The rain turned to snow, and the city grew quiet, wrapped in white. We spent Christmas wrapped in blankets, drinking cheap wine, watching old movies. He fell asleep on my chest halfway through It's a Wonderful Life, and I thought, yeah, it really is. But peace doesn't last forever. In February, Liam got a call, a number he hadn't seen in years. His mother. I watched him freeze when he saw the name. His fingers trembled as he picked up. "Hi, Mom." There was a long pause. I couldn't hear what she said, but I could see what it did to him. His eyes darkened, shoulders stiffened. He nodded a few times, said, "Yeah, I understand," and hung up. When he turned to me, he was shaking. "She wants to see me," he whispered. "That's good, isn't it?" He hesitated. "I don't know. She said she wants to talk. That usually means she wants to fix something that isn't broken." I took his hand. "Then let her see that you're okay. That you've built a life, your life." He nodded slowly. "Will you come with me?" "Always." We went to his hometown the next weekend. A small, quiet place that looked like it hadn't changed since the 90s. His parents' house sat at the end of a narrow street lined with sleeping trees. When his mother opened the door, she looked smaller than I imagined. Her face softened when she saw him, but when her eyes met mine, something flickered. Confusion, hesitation, maybe fear. "This is Ethan," Liam said gently. "My boyfriend." The silence that followed could have filled the whole house. She didn't say much during dinner. Mostly polite questions, the kind that pretend to mean more than they do. His father didn't show up at all. But I watched her, watched the way she looked at Liam. Not with hate, but with distance, like she was staring at a memory she didn't know how to hold anymore. After we left, Liam was quiet. In the car, I reached for his hand. "She'll come around," I said. He gave me a small, sad smile. "Maybe, but even if she doesn't, I think I finally understand something." "What's that?" "That love isn't supposed to be something you earn. It's something you deserve." I squeezed his hand. "You deserve everything." Life went on. The days grew longer, the world warmer. We built a rhythm, messy, imperfect, beautiful. But one night, I woke up to find him gone. I panicked, searched every room, until I saw him on the balcony, barefoot in the cold, camera aimed at the city lights. "Couldn't sleep?" I asked softly. He didn't turn. "No, I just wanted to remember this. Before it changes." "Before what changes?" He hesitated. Then, quietly, "I got an offer. A photography internship in Paris." My breath caught. "That's incredible." He finally turned, eyes shining but unsure. "It's for 6 months. Maybe longer." I swallowed. "When do you leave?" "Next week." I tried to smile. "You should go." He frowned. "That's it? You're not even going to fight me on it." I took a step closer, heart breaking with every word. "If I love you, really love you, I can't be the reason you stay small. You've spent too long hiding from the world. Go see it. Photograph it. Live it." He stared at me for a long time, then whispered, "I don't want to lose you." "You won't." But deep down, I wasn't sure. The night before his flight, it rained again. The same kind of rain as the night we met. We went back to the bridge, our bridge. The one where everything started. The city lights shimmered through the storm, and for a second, it felt like time was folding in on itself. He handed me a small envelope. "Open it when I'm gone." I nodded, unable to speak. He smiled through the tears. "You changed my life, Ethan. You made me believe in something I thought I'd lost." I tried to hold it together, but when he kissed me, soft, trembling, final, I broke. "I'll wait for you," I whispered. He brushed his thumb across my cheek. Don't wait, just live. That way, when I come back, we'll both have more stories to tell. And then he walked away, disappearing into the rain, until all that was left was the echo of his footsteps and the sound of my heart breaking quietly in the dark. I opened the envelope the next morning. Inside was a photo, us standing in the rain the night we met. On the back he'd written, "You found me when I was lost. If love is weather, then you were my storm, the kind that destroys and rebuilds at the same time." I sat there, holding that photo, realizing that sometimes love doesn't end. It just changes shape, from presence to memory, from warmth to ache. And maybe that's what makes it real. 6 months is both everything and nothing. When you're counting the days by someone's absence, time doesn't pass. It stretches, thins, becomes something you live through instead of in. The first few weeks after Liam left, I couldn't look at the empty side of the bed without feeling like something inside me had caved in. His jacket still hung by the door, his coffee mug still sat in the sink, and the apartment felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for laughter that would never come. We tried to talk, video calls, messages, photos. He'd send pictures of Paris. Rain on cobblestones, couples by the Seine, faces caught mid-laughter. I'd reply with photos of the same old city, the bridge, the cafe, the window he used to sit by. But no matter how much we tried, there was always that delay. The seconds between his words and mine. The time zones between his dawn and my night. The silence that grew between calls. One night, he sent me a picture of the Eiffel Tower. It was blurry, like he'd taken it while running. Underneath it, he wrote, "I saw the rain tonight. It reminded me of you." I smiled and cried at the same time. Spring arrived, and with it a strange peace. I started writing again. Not love stories, not really, but small fragments of moments. The sound of rain, the way light touches a face, the courage it takes to leave. Sometimes, when the words came easily, I'd imagine he was there beside me, reading over my shoulder, smiling that quiet smile of his. Then, one afternoon in May, I got a letter. A real one, not a text, not an email. The handwriting was messy, familiar. My hands trembled as I opened it. "Ethan, I don't know if I can explain what this city has done to me. It's loud and lonely and beautiful all at once. I walk for hours with my camera, chasing light I can never quite catch. But sometimes, in the middle of the crowd, I see you. You were right. Leaving wasn't about running away. It was about learning how to stay even when I'm scared. I'm coming home soon, but not because I miss what we had, because I'm ready to build something new. Love, Liam." I pressed the letter to my chest and laughed through tears. For the first time, missing him didn't feel like pain. It felt like proof. Proof that love could stretch across oceans and still return home. He came back in July. I saw him before he saw me, standing at the arrival's gate, duffel bag slung over his shoulder, looking exhausted but alive. His hair was longer, his skin a little darker, but his eyes, they were still Liam's eyes. He spotted me, and for a moment, everything else disappeared. No airport noise, no people, no time. Just us, staring at each other like the world had been holding this breath too. Then he ran to me. When he reached me, he didn't say a word. He just wrapped his arms around me and buried his face in my neck, like he was coming home not to a place, but to a heartbeat. I whispered, "You're here." He nodded. "I told you I'd come back." I pulled back enough to look at him. "And did you get your stories?" He smiled. "1,000 of them, but none better than ours." We didn't go straight home. Instead, we walked through the city streets, through the drizzle that had started again like a memory on replay. "Do you remember this?" he asked when we reached the bridge. How could I forget? He took out his camera, a newer one probably from Paris, and aimed it at me. "Smile," he said. I shook my head. You already have too many pictures of me. Not like this, he murmured. I smiled anyway, because I couldn't help it, and he clicked the shutter. Then he lowered the camera, stepped closer, and kissed me. It wasn't desperate this time. It wasn't goodbye or hello. It was something steadier, the kind of kiss that doesn't burn, but glows. When he pulled away, I asked, "What was that for?" He grinned. "For finally coming home to myself." The months that followed weren't perfect. We fought sometimes, about dishes, about his late nights editing photos, about my tendency to overthink everything. But beneath every argument was the unshakable truth that we'd both chosen this. Chosen to stay, to try, to love through the mess. He started exhibiting his photography. The first show was small, in a quiet art cafe downtown. I stood at the back, heart pounding, watching people move from photo to photo. And then I saw it. In the center of the gallery, a large print. Us standing under the rain on that first night. The caption read, "Not every love begins in sunlight. Some are born in the storm, and that's what makes them last." People whispered, smiled, pointed. Some even cried. But all I could do was stare, my throat tight, because that photo wasn't just art. It was our proof of life. When he spotted me across the room, he smiled. That same quiet, shy smile from the night we met, and mouthed, "Thank you." After the show, we walked home in silence, our fingers brushing now and then. It started to rain again, just lightly this time, soft and steady. He tilted his face up to the sky and whispered, "It always rains when something important happens." I laughed. "Then I guess it'll rain every day we're together." He turned to me, eyes shining. "Good. I like the rain." We stopped in the middle of the street, soaked but unbothered, and I kissed him there. Not caring who saw, not caring about anything except the truth of that moment. Because love, I realized, isn't about where it starts. It's about what you build when the rain stops. Years later, when people ask how we met, I never say a dating app. I say, in the rain, because that's where the story really began. Where two strangers stopped pretending, stopped hiding, and found something worth getting drenched for. And every time it rains now, no matter where we are, whether it's a city street, a foreign shore, or just our balcony, he'll take my hand, pull me close, and say, "Do you remember?" And I'll smile because of course I do. I remember the night the rain fell harder than fear. The night the world blurred and love came into focus. The night pixels turned into touch, and two lonely hearts finally stepped out from behind the glass. We met on a dating app but fell in love in the rain. And we've been dancing in it ever since.